Okay, so this is our 1890 farmhouse. It's obviously, it's had some updates, it's had some add-ons, I'm not exactly sure when, but we're certainly going to be updating it all, Lord willing, and we'd like to take you along for us on this adventure and give you an opportunity to see it as we go through the trials and struggles and as we enjoy the benefits of our labor. So you want to come with us and see how it is now. Hopefully you'll be along for the journey and see how it is when it's closer to done. I'm not entirely sure it'll ever be completely done, but come along with us. Come on, Carlia. Carlia, come on.
Do you want to go around the house first?
Yeah.
Come on. This way. There is the barn, back there, the field.
So obviously much of the siding is the original, probably original to 1890, especially on this original part of the house. So that's definitely got to go. Plan on doing our best to put good siding, probably like LP Smart Side or something. This section back here, it was added on with this brick chimney and fireplace on the inside. So that's I don't know when it was added on, I'm guessing 70s or 80s. The house has 3 chimneys, if you include the brick chimney. And it's got a really cool feature here in the back where you can put wood through the back. Carlia! Carlia! A couple of mulberry trees. So this is kind of a neat feature. They've got it silicone shut. It's probably they didn't use it. Probably they just wanted to keep bugs and hot and cold air out, but I plan to open it up. When you open it up on the underside here, it's pretty neat. It's got an actual window seat. The window seat opens up like a chest, and you can fill that as a firebox underneath the window seat. Really clever. I think it's really neat. It's got a lot of old timber on the property. Some of the old timber does need to come down or is already down, but that's firewood. This deck needs to go. But I do like the idea. Probably will go with another large deck and might do like a screened in covered one. Not really sure. It's probably not going to be the first project. Back here in this back field is or in this little back area here is going to be most likely the garden area. Hope to have a fairly large garden. The property line, if you look, is this fence here is the back side. It's actually a pretty short property in depth, but it's long. It goes alongside of the of the road. So coming on farther, and here's one of those mulberry trees. I don't know if I can get a close-up on here. Maybe if it'll focus. Good old mulberries. I mentioned mulberry pie earlier, and I kind of got funny looks, but if you can make jam out of it, surely you can make pie out of it. And it's excellent. So, like I mentioned, some old growth timber, which I'm pretty happy about. It takes lots of years to grow them, and you can see there is a farm field. Looks like it's in beans right now. and that is not on our property. The property line is what you see, the kind of the tree line. There's a fence there, I believe, between us and that farm field. This here, see if I can get back a little bit. This here is the breakfast nook here, and then if you come along this side here, we are thinking about, hey Carlia, did mommy find you? Huh? So this along here, sorry about the AC noise, but this is the kitchen wall, and we're talking about, since there is a load-bearing exterior wall, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here, but we are talking about taking and making the kitchen wall come out about maybe a little farther from the maybe taking the kitchen wall out a little bit farther from the breakfast nook, and just opening up that space, because it's kind of almost like a galley. It reminds you almost of a galley, like a ship's kitchen galley with very little room. So hopefully we can do that down the road. That'll be a down the road project. And then if you'll pan over here, this garage here, if you come take a look inside.
Carlia, come on. Come with us. Come on. Come with us.
It kind of puts you in mind of the Chronicles of Narnia. You know, far bigger on the inside than the outside. So
it's really
here
dark.
It's dark, very dark, but it is a concrete floor, and so there's lots of potential for working on vehicles in here. And I want to show you this one exciting detail. Come take a look over here. I believe this is the original front door, the original hardware, and the glass is still intact. I am super excited about fixing that up and hopefully doing something maybe with like a glass heavy-duty storm door on the outside, and then that vintage original wood door behind it, maybe something like that. I don't know, but super excited about all of the originals that are left. And for what it's worth, I think it's awesome when people do the respect to an old house like this. Leave some of its original character, original baseboard trim. Don't go messing with some of the original character. This has an old coal stove down at the bottom. It has some of the old, as you kind of see the progression of American technology, which is so cool inside of the home. So yeah, a lot of work, but it's got so much character and so much potential that I feel like when we're done, it will be much more than you could go out and buy in a new build. That's for sure. You can't buy that history, not in a new build. That's for sure. Knock, knock.
Man.
Well, hey. Now you are the owners of this home.
Yeah.
Well, hi, Carly.
As of today.
I love the furniture.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the furniture. It's so much open space.
So this is
Carlia, what do you think? Is this how you use the furniture? Yay! Okay.
So go around this room.
So you're going to tell us a little bit about the inside, what we're going to do. Here is, and you'll just have to forgive the shaky video. This is me. It's my amateur skills.
So this is going to be the walk-in, more fancier living room, and I'll probably have it more for like company, not really where we hang out. But
so kind of keeping the traditional parlor.
Yeah. So the first thing it has to be is the ceiling. Mm-hmm. The ceiling is a wreck and it has to be
that original plaster.
Redo it.
Yeah, it's falling down.
And we're gonna paint all the walls, fix all of the what is it called?
Oh, well, where the drywall seams.
All the drywall, yeah. And then the floors, we're gonna redo all the floors before we hopefully move in. we want to refinish them to dark wood and probably polyurethane them. And then let's go in the study.
Okay.
David's study where he gets all his work done that he doesn't get done now because he doesn't have a study.
That's my excuse, sticking to it.
And kind of a guest room too.
And again, this is pretty dark. Let me see if I can get some light. Okay, that's still terrible, but it's better. So I'd like to just notice here, I'm going to do what I can to keep this. So I was talking about respecting the original house as much as possible. I'm thankful that this trim is here. So I'm going to try to fix it up. Maybe, I mean, look, you just don't, that's like probably 129 years old.
And the closets definitely need to be redone. They're not really that usable right now.
Yeah.
That's no big deal, right?
But what would you do without these beautiful ornate pieces? I mean, just look at that detail with focus. That detail, though. Still jumping? Catch the corner moldings.
Sometime I hope we have
a dining room
piano right here, hopefully, when we get all the drywall and ceilings and floors done.
You don't want the piano in the parlor?
I do want a piano right here. I think a piano right here would be great, but we'll see. And our big table, our big nice table will go in here. And let's go back here to the mudroom. This is the porch that you saw when we were walking around the house.
Broken glass.
This is where the washer and dryer is going to go. And hopefully we can make some really cool ideas and Pinterest ideas go up here so it doesn't look so bad. And this is going to be the room where hopefully we have more of a chill area where we hang out. And like Kendralee's therapy is in here, Carly's playroom, and kind of our family room, and the other one being more of the fancy one. And this is the sitting window where you open it up where he's talking about the wood could go inside.
Ta-da!
That's cool. This is another door out to the deck in the same room. And then there's something really cool here behind the door where there's this little window, the light that looks out onto the deck.
Look, the light works.
Yeah.
That way you can see the beautiful stain.
When you're outside having a barbecue.
Yeah, that's what that's for.
And then back into the dining room. And I'm gonna let David tell about this room.
Okay. So as it says, this is the necessary room. This is got the oh, I can't think of the word for this right now. But it's got the I can't think of it right now. But anyway, it's got this woodwork up here to the center of the wall, and then it has a cast iron clawfoot tub here, which does need a little restoration, but that's definitely a must. Thanks, Carly. Yeah. This I do want to fix up, but I want to keep it period correct as much as possible. I wanted to get one of those old toilets where the reservoir sits up here, has a long stem, and I've gotten a no vote from Kellanie so far on that, but let's keep working on her. Here is another important detail. the original. If somebody knows more about these, tell me about it, please. Put it in the comments below. But the this right here is I believe, some sort of a control device, some sort of control lever for the original, for the coal stoves down in the cellar. There's a bit of chain here, and there's a bit of chain coming out of the floor. So I just think that's neat. I plan on leaving little touches like that. Kind of tells us history a little. You gonna tell us about the kitchen?
I don't have much to say about it yet.
So this is what we were talking about, where it's a bit narrow.
First, we walked into the breakfast nook, is what they called it, and we'll probably use this for a dining room for us, and I'm sure that I'll make it like a coffee shop looking room. It's kind of my idea, and where we eat, and Carlia, we have a table that doesn't really matter because I don't really want her scratching up our other table, and where we kind of do all of our little projects out here and eat out here as a family, and then if we have company, eat more in this dining room where our big table is going to go. That's kind of the plan there.
Okay, so I saw something on Facebook recently, and it was so true, talking about ratting about our generation. But remember that the older generation are the same people who put linoleum over hardwood. Why would you do that? That's a good question to ask yourself when you're thinking about generations being better than others. But this is what it is. It does have room to work. It's not horrible, but it is horrible. It needs this stuff here is going to go. I don't know why they built that out, just I guess so it would look something. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe somebody knows about that and you can comment below. But we'll do what we can with this for now. Maybe paint it white, maybe do something. I don't care about saving it. And we'll probably use this kitchen for a while we get some of the more important stuff done, as long as everything's usable. Really don't need the wine rack. Gonna probably maybe do something, lay some other linoleum down just for now. Maybe pull this linoleum up and polish up the hardwood and treat it while we have a good opportunity. I really don't know. I would imagine though that down the road, if we move this wall out, this will be a tile floor. I would imagine, but we'll see. This here is what appears to be the original. They probably had an actual wood stove here. Some of you might actually remember cooking with wood stoves. I know one or two of you might, but I don't know. I'm probably not going to try to talk Kellanie into putting a wood stove in here, but I think they're pretty neat. They're actually pretty expensive if you're buying them online. Wood cooking stoves.
Let's just be real, this house has a lot of work to be done. It's definitely not like all perfect.
This here is cellar access. No point not necessarily any point in going down there right now. Maybe down the road I'll show you the coal stove and some of that in a future video.
Now we're going to show you guys the upstairs and what we plan to do with it. Hi, Carlia.
Hello.
This room, I think, will be Carlia's room. I'm not sure. We're definitely going to redo, probably put carpet up here, paint the walls. And really, I'm not sure what else we're going to do other than redo the closets, because they're really, really old.
Some sort of a highly complicated stair guard.
Yeah, so Carlia can't fall down them. Here, can I hold your hand? This bedroom will be ours. We're gonna put carpet in all of the rooms upstairs. We have one window and then we have a door out to the top porch. I'm just gonna show you because there was a lot of wasp earlier.
Carlia.
You can see our vehicle down there. And that's our porch that we can go sit on and watch the fireflies in the summer.
Perfect for picking and grinning.
Yeah. This is a closet that's definitely got to be redone. It's really old.
Still has the wallpaper.
No, David.
Yes, I love the wallpaper.
No, it can't stay.
Got it.
There's just no way that can stay. That would so just not work. Anyways, we're gonna go see the other bedroom. We don't know whose that might be yet. Guess we'll all find out. This has like a little sitting window too, which I'm sure I'll fill with pillows. And a really pretty view out the back. And then this walks through to a bathroom. And here is 2 closets, I'm sure that we will adjust on each side. And this is the bathroom. We totally plan on completely redoing it to make it exactly what we want it to be. There's an old like linen closet in here. I'm sure it will go. Oh, she wants to be in the tub. Alright, well, then this goes right back into our bedroom. Kind of like a little circle. Well, that is the tour of our house. And I'm sure there will be lots of projects that we do in the future to show you everyone. Yep. We're pretty excited about it.
Here we are troweling on mud. Here we are standing floors.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So Kellanie just recently posted a post on Facebook while we were actually in the hospital with Kendralee, and it got a lot of attention. I would say the first, probably just a few minutes there were 20 some comments on it. Only had 2 likes and it had like 20 some comments. It was incredible. But anyway, the announcement, as you can tell already in the post on Facebook, if you follow us there, is that we have bought this house. It's an 1890 farmhouse. The other announcement is the beginning of our YouTube channel. And Kellanie will tell a lot more about why we're doing it, what our plans are for the channel. But basically it comes down to our refusal to quit, our refusal to say we're going to have a mediocre life. And the Lord has blessed us with a couple of beautiful girls, another child coming on the way, and a church family, and many, many blessings. But the Lord has also seen fit to allow certain trials to come into our life, and not the least of which has been dealing with a chromosome deletion in our youngest daughter. And we would like, Kellanie has said that she would like to do something where others who are in similar circumstances can know what it's like. We're going to be very real. It's going to be a very real channel. It's not going to be all just motivation, but about overcoming adversity. And Kellanie will talk a lot more. This is really going to be her project. My hands are pretty full with everything else that's going on with the remodel and with the with full-time work and full-time school, and it goes on. But anyway, we hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to follow us on this journey, definitely hit like, definitely subscribe, and yeah, we're going to bring you along on quite a journey. And with that, I'll hand it over to Kellanie.
I hope this doesn't get too long or lengthy or boring, but I just feel like I want to make a video on why I am really excited about the new chapter in our life. And I'll probably go back to when our second daughter was first born, and the excitement that I had, and how thrilled and excited I was, and then to find out that everything was just nothing that I ever dreamed it would be. And anyways, we ended up moving out here because of David pastoring the church here in town, near town, and we were in a rental house, and we knew we had thought about like buying here, and then the baby was having problems like right when we were moving to this rental house from where we had first lived. And the baby got really, we knew that she had something wrong with her, and I knew from the time she was first born, I knew that something was wrong with her, and I just didn't know what or how serious it was, and then it just got worse and worse. And I'll just skip ahead to the day we actually found out what was wrong with her. And I got on YouTube to find videos of, you know, 1p36 deletion syndrome, and what I found was totally nothing I wanted to see or hear. I still haven't really found anything. And the longer that time went on, I found that I just felt really hopeless, and that I was 21 and there was really no more reason for life other than just like finding a house that was already fixed up, really didn't have any character, and just move in and kind of settle in and, you know, just take care of our sick baby. And it's kind of how I felt. But we have really went through a lot of struggles to get here, and I know that a lot of people want to just say, oh well, God gives special children to special people, and I didn't really feel that at all, like, at all. I just don't feel that way. I feel like, I feel like she was given to us for a reason, but I just didn't take it like that. And a lot of people say a lot of things like that until it's them, and then it's totally different than you ever dreamed. And so we have really been struggling I have really been struggling for a long time, and I felt like maybe we should just move out by my parents, and I would just kind of, I don't know, sit on the sidelines or something and take care of my children. And I just kind of felt like there was no more meaning to life, and it's really exactly how I felt. And I know this is like a lot of information in kind of a nutshell.
It's intense, but it's going to be.
Yeah.
You couldn't understand how intense that is if you're not feeling it, you know, like anything.
And David actually took me down there, and we looked at houses, and we looked into moving down there, and I just felt like that's what we were going to do. And at the same time as doing that, I felt like I was kind of giving up on anything. And it's what I wanted, but it's not what I really wanted. But I just felt so hopeless that there wasn't any other way, you know, like, I can't handle this forever. I can't do it by myself. And it was just kind of like me giving up and giving some of my load to family, even though I know they're there to help, and they are still there to help when I need them. But we had pretty much decided David was going to tell the church that we were leaving that Sunday, and he went by the church to pray, and he had a burden on
weed eat. Yeah.
And he had a burden that he couldn't tell them, and that we couldn't move. And so,
well, no, basically I sat down in the church and looked over the pews, and, you know, there's the vision of what I've seen for that church and the call that I have felt there. It just settled over me, and I couldn't. It's hard to explain. If you know what it is to have been given a job from God, then you know the responsibility that weighs on you, and the joy, the fulfillment. There's nothing like it. And recognizing, I'd already told my family we were leaving. I was already dealing with a real estate agent for Southern Missouri, and realizing that, you know, it was that real and it was that soon. Struggling with, when do I tell the church? You know, it really hit home, and I found myself praying and asking God, is there any other way? And the burden that settled over me was so strong that I had come to the conclusion in my seeking for the Lord's will that the Lord had shut the door through circumstances, and that I needed to heed His providence before more damage was done to my family. But it was in that time that, sitting there with the burden that settled over me, I came home and told my wife, told Kellanie that I cannot make this decision without knowing for certain that God is leading me away. And my conclusion that the door has been shut via circumstance, it is not going to be enough to take care of my conscience if I leave and the work shuts down. So, not that a work can't go on without anybody. No one's indispensable. God can raise up another individual. And I certainly don't think higher of myself than I should. I certainly try not to. But you've got, if you've got a job, and you've been honored with a job from Jesus Christ, then that job is meant for you. And I take that very seriously. You and anyone who's in that position should take that very seriously. So that's the weight and the story and the burden I came home to Kellanie with, just giving that backdrop, that backstory.
And when he came home and told me that he felt like he just couldn't tell them, and he just felt the burden, and I was honestly upset. I felt like I didn't really know what to do. And I remembered...
And I had your family's hopes up, too.
Yeah. Which
sad. They knew we were struggling and that we were debating it. I made it clear that I was seeking the will of the Lord. But still, they had no hopes up.
Yeah. And I was pretty upset about it. I felt like I had just already set my mind to moving there and settling down and just having a nurse and taking care of the baby and, you know, doing the same old thing every day. And I was pretty upset because I just had my mind set on it. And it was my give up. I felt like I was just, in a way, I feel like it was just me giving up to settle for that. Because I know that I have always been a lot more excited about life than that.
We've had aspirations beyond just being go to work 9 to 5, come home, stay at home all day, vacation once a year.
Yeah.
You know, life's too short. That's not to discredit anyone who's with that. I mean, they're talking about our goals.
But I just feel like I was really upset. And I actually went to town and went shopping and thought about it. And I came home, and I think it was the next day, God brought it back to my mind that there was something when I was younger, and it was real. It wasn't just a little thing. And I asked God, if you'll please take care of this, I'll be a missionary in China if you want me to be. And I hadn't thought about it this whole entire time with dealing with the baby and trying to do the church and go to church and do everything that we needed to do along with her. And I had never even, it had never crossed my mind. And God brought it back to me, and it was like, oh, how could I say that and then not even stay at a little town like Buell? And
he said, you told me you would go to China.
And I thought, how could I say I would go to China and then not stay here and endure this? Because God knew we were at Buell before we had Kendra leave. And anyways, it just, all of a sudden, it really, like, hit home to me. Like, it was really amazing, because it just wasn't how I was thinking or feeling, and all of a sudden it was like God just kind of gave me the answer, and I felt a lot more at peace with everything. He pretty much made the decision to stay here.
And that was in May.
The house that we had looked at in
February. Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, never.
Well, I suggested it.
We looked at it. We went inside of it.
Oh, in February. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And in my mind, I was just like, no way. We were just looking at it.
You seemed pretty interested, unless it was a show.
I was faking it. No, like, it was cool, but I just didn't see how we could do it.
It had a significant presence. I mean, when you walk in, it's like, whoa, this is cool. This is not, you know, a collection of sticks and drywall. Like most new builds.
Anyways, So it had went off the market.
Yeah, it had a contract on it.
Yeah. And then through all of this that happened, with us thinking about going down to South Missouri. Anyways, when we decided we felt like we should stay, then the house was back up for sale, right?
It had been. It had been for probably close to a month.
Yeah. And so we just pursued it. And in my mind, it was like, you know, I have a chance at moving forward. And
well, we made the decision to stay. She told me what God had said to her. And then one of us suggested the Goldenrod house, and Kellanie was just like, well, let's just do it. So I hopped on it.
And I feel like it was a way to just go forward, honestly. And so even though nothing really has gotten easier, I feel like I am really striving to overcome everything that's happening and going to continue to happen, because you know what Kendra has is not going to go away, and you know who knows if it will ever get better. And I feel like this is our way of moving forward and accomplishing things and still living life, even though it's really hard to. And I am pretty excited about it, even though I know it's not going to all be easy.
And I think we should throw some things in too, talking about the feelings that are associated with dealing with something like a life-dominating condition, something that's actually a special needs, a handicap, however you want to say it. Is that it's easy enough to take the moral high ground, and Kellanie already touched on this some a little bit earlier. It's easy enough to take the moral high ground going through a circumstance you haven't been through. But I mean, I know from personal experience that, you know, when my grandma passed away last year, I didn't want to hear someone else's perspective on losing a loved one. I wanted to deal with losing my loved one. And so I take that approach to others who are going through things, if possible. I listen and pray. You know, if as much as I can, and don't go saying, well, you know, everyone goes through it. So I say that, I don't want to sound too sarcastic, but when you're people of faith, when you believe in Jesus, when you know that Jesus has been real in your life, and then something bad happens, then you have to deal with what ends up. And if you feel like that you've lived your life, or at least, you know, some of your life for the Lord, and you've made the right decisions to the extent that you could, and you've been careful with living a godly life through His strength, you expect blessings because of basic Christian principles of sowing and reaping. And I think that you have to go through a bit of a struggle dealing with, okay, why did this bad thing happen to me? And that's some of the answers that we would like to share with you all as we're discovering them ourselves. So that if you're going through something like this or your own difficulty, it's not just like, well, God has the strength for you, but more, here's how He's giving the strength, and here's how those answers, what the answers that we're finding. And those answers are there. They really are. It does make sense. We're all creatures that have fallen short of the glory of God and are subject to the fall. And so disease happens to everyone, and bad things happen, and you lose loved ones, and it rains on the just and the unjust, as the Bible says. So you just have to deal with all of that and not have not develop a victim mentality, but take what's given and
make the best of it.
Right. If you want to use the term die out to it, like Paul said, I die daily. Accept that this, although maybe you can't say that God would do that to someone, but He did allow it to come our way. And He says that it won't put anything on you more than you can bear. I'm not going to try to quote that. And so I think that's some of keeping your testimony and keeping your faith in God is accepting what comes your way and recognizing that He will use it for good if you're called according to His purpose, which I know I am, and I know that I love Him. And so I just am trusting that these things that seem like setbacks and seem like struggles, there's some way through this that we'll see He has a plan. And I don't have those answers yet, and Kellanie doesn't have them either, but we'd like to take you along for the journey. And we don't know exactly where all this is going. We hope it ends with a larger, happier family, and we hope it ends with a beautiful home in the country, and we hope it ends with something that we might call a successful ministry. But regardless, we'd like to take you along and hope you find some inspiration and enjoyment going along the journey.
And I want to make this channel about our house and our journey and ministry and all of that, but I want to make this for other moms that, you know, have a newborn baby and are getting a random piece of paper when the genetics call to write down what their baby has, and they can search it and find us on YouTube where life actually does go on, and it doesn't ever get a lot easier. At least it hasn't in the last 9 months. It hasn't gotten just easier. I'm just finding ways to move forward, and it's like been a lot of work just to get here. Like a couple months ago I felt like I'm 21 and there's nothing more to life, and I hate to say it like that.
You got to explain. I mean, some of the reason though that it seems that way is, say someone says, hey, we're having a birthday party. First thing that comes to your mind is, I'm not taking the baby, because the baby will scream very likely through the whole thing, and you'll find yourself outside in the van, and then finally you give up and go home. And if that happens enough times, you don't feel like driving 30, 40, 60 minutes over to someone's house for an event. You don't want to go over somewhere, and so you find yourself becoming more and more withdrawn. That's what she's getting at when she says, you know,
there's
end of your life.
A lot of days of just therapy, a lot of days of going to the doctors, and if I ever vlog it all, you'll understand. But there's a lot of days where it's just doctors and therapy and this test for that test, getting ready for surgery, and you know, it's just always something, and it's not gonna change. Like, so far it hasn't changed.
And then you get online and everyone's on vacation, meeting, you know, going and doing stuff, and it's all good, you know, but you have to deal with not becoming resentful. You have to deal with not
This is my way
jealous.
Of trying to overcome it, and I don't really know how else to tell how I feel other than just making this video. And I am very, very thankful for my baby. I'm very, very thankful that she's alive and she's thriving and she's happy, but it has taken a lot of work to get where we are. And I wouldn't trade her today. I honestly would not. I'm just not going to get on here and say, oh, it's been real fun. Like, it's been easy. We've got through it. I mean, we've got through it, but it has been really hard to get through it. And I'll just be honest. Like, I want to just be really honest. Like,
we had an in-home nurse for a while, and before getting that in-home nurse at nights, I think for the first 6 months of Kennedy's life, I'm not sure that Kellanie got 6 hours of sleep straight. If she did, it was very rare. And I had to get up in the morning and go to work, so, and I'm a deep sleeper anyway, so to be honest, I wasn't much help, you know.
But it all is what it is, and hopefully we're going to be getting a day nurse soon and a night nurse for once in a while, and we can work on our house and we can move forward, and we have the other baby on the way, and I'm just really, I am nervous, but I'm really excited.
And that is one thing. We're privileged to live in a country where there are resources.
Yeah.
When I was in Iraq, and also just with stories, I enjoy travel and people's stories from other places, and it's an amazing privilege that we live in a place and time where there is help. So
yeah, and
we definitely want to share. We definitely want to share some of that for those who.
We're very thankful. I am very thankful
might
for
be in a similar case.
Her doctors. She has wonderful doctors and therapist, and you know, all of it has been really good, and I'm really thankful for it. And there's just a lot to be thankful for in the midst of a lot of hard times. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm ungrateful or, you know, upset about my child. I just want to be real that it hasn't been super easy. And
an encouragement that
yeah,
you can still tackle things.
The YouTube video is for encouragement that life is still going to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I have felt like for months it's not. But it really is. It is going to go on, even though it's not going to be that easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, you know, for a lot of people, if they looked at just if we write out everything that we're trying to do right now, and this is not meant as bragging, but everything we're trying to do right now, it's exhausting. She's dealing with the children. We're expecting another child. We're pastoring a local church, a small one, but we're trying to grow with the help of the Lord and deepen as well. And I'm going to school full-time online using the Montgomery GI Bill, and working full-time in the construction remodeling industry. I commute usually to the St. Louis area and surrounding towns. And let's see, what else have we got going. And now we're tackling a 1890s farmhouse to remodel. It's not, you know, if you look at it, you might say, well, that's crazy, and maybe it is. But I've come to realize that I waste a lot of time. And I think most of us waste a lot of time. So part of this journey is me learning that struggle of overcoming wasting time. And there's so much more you can do, and we don't want to just live life. Let life pass us by. And they say at the end of life, the things you regret the most are the things you didn't do. And so while we're young, and thankfully that we have the health to do things, I'd like to tackle that. And I hope it inspires you to tackle those things that you've been toying around with in the back of your mind, like, oh, I'd like to do this someday, I'd like to do that. Well, sometimes, kind of like this YouTube channel.
Yeah, we've talked about it for a long time.
You just got to throw yourself out there, and I'm sure the audio's bad in this video, and I'm sure that the video's shaky sometimes, and we're rambling,
I'm really sorry about, like,
you just got to jump in sometimes.
Being random with our thoughts. Do it. And I'm sure there was parts we missed with the whole struggle getting where we are now.
Yeah.
But I hope it is help to some people.
It's from the heart, for what that's worth.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to try to get to editing and uploading this video. I don't know how, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And then we'll be on to taking care of babies and planning the house projects.
And I have school to do.
So we'll do it.
Okay.
All right.